I hereby call to order the September 27, 2023 meeting of the Gaithersburg Historic District Commission. For our roll call, please answer present when I call your name. Planner 2, Chris Berger.
Present.
Deputy City Attorney Frank Johnson.
Present.
Commissioner Mary Jo LaFrance.
Present.
Commissioner Mark Feinstein.
Present.
Commissioner Rudy Morgan.
Present.
Myself, Commissioner, and Chairman DiMantola says present. So we have a quorum. And so next is our preliminary statement, which is as follows. This commission is empowered to meet and act under Article 12 of the City Code of Gaithersburg. The technical qualifications of the staff of this commission and the members of this commission are on file with the City of Gaithersburg, are available on request to any applicant, and are hereby made a part of the legal record for each and every application heard tonight. Each application heard tonight is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. Lastly, any member from the public who wishes to speak on one of tonight's applications will be given 3 minutes to address the HDC from the podium at the reserved time. But we ask that you all refrain from speaking out from the audience and that you take any private conversations outside of the council chambers. Okay, does any commissioner have any conflicts of interest with any application being heard tonight?
It's not so much a conflict, but I'm living in the same historic district as the 114 Meem Avenue.
Okay, all right, that sounds fine, thank you. Thank you for declaring it. Okay, so next we have one set of minutes needing approval, which is from our August 23rd, 2023 meeting. Does any commissioner have any corrections or additions to the minutes that
No.
you'd like to see?
No.
I do have one, Chris. It's on the last page of the minutes, and it is as follows. It currently says he, in referencing something I said. He suggests the architect check to make sure that the staircase meets building code. Can you just kindly put in the word open? That is to check that the open staircase meets the building code.
Okay.
Because that's really was the issue. Thank you. Okay, so that. So next we have, let's see here. Okay, so next we want to adopt the minutes. So can somebody please make a motion to adopt the minutes?
I move we adopt the minutes.
As written, okay.
Second.
I'm so sorry.
As amended.
As amended, thank you. All right, and second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
None, and no abstentions. So that is 4 to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 0, 4 to 0. John's not here. Very good. All right, so next we have 2 historic area work permits, the first of which is HIST 9642-2023. Replace sections of asphalt shingle roofing with standing seam metal roofing at the 104 Russell Avenue in the R90 medium density residential zone. May we have introduction from staff, please?
Yes, the subject property is contributing to the Brooks, Russell, and Walker Historic District. Let me turn over my computer. Here's the aerial. It's a 2.5-story folk Victorian style building with stick style details that was constructed circa 1892 and is known as Little Zor and the Thompson House. The applicant seeks approval to replace the asphalt shingle roofing with standing seam metal. The Brooks, Russell, and Walker design guidelines apply under house design elements. The first 2 bullets read that new additional or replacement construction work on existing houses should be compatible with the historical design elements as outlined in the house style section of these guidelines. And the second bullet is contributing resources are encouraged to restore original features when possible and sufficiently well documented, although many of the houses are eclectic in their decorative details, and this eclecticism should be preserved. Intentional mixing of style elements or addition of new style elements is discouraged. For materials, the first bullet is the pertinent one here. It reads, the historic character of a property shall be retained and preserved. The removal of historic materials or alteration of features and spaces that characterize a property shall be avoided. And lastly, under roofing, the introduction reads that in the Brooks, Russell, and Walker Historic District, there are few examples of original roofing materials remaining. These were of pressed or standing seam tin, wood, shake shingles, slate, or pattern composition. Care should be exercised prior to replacing these with modern materials. And then original materials should be retained, matched, restored if possible. I don't think we have a representative from the property 104 here tonight. I see that he is online, though.
Yes. then
But
please. Yes.
Deputy City Attorney Johnson, can you weigh in here? I don't think we allow presentations virtually, correct? My
We do
understanding-
we clearly allow public comment, and I would interpret that, frankly, to assist the commission. I think if there's anything he can offer in that regard,
Yeah, it's
So
just
that we would
testimony.
accept it.
What I'll do is,
Additionally,
And you
there's
can
nobody
swear.
here to oppose it either, so
You can
there's
swear
certainly
him
no
in.
harm.
Yeah, it's swearing
Yeah.
in, and it is testimony.
well,
so
what I
think
can
it's
do, and
acceptable.
I hope he's listening to this, what I can do is I can go through his plans, and then at the end of that, if you would like to offer anything,
Sure.
because he can't,
Point
say,
anything
turn to
out.
page so-and-so.
Sure.
So
Oh,
I'll
that's-
do that.
I see what you're getting at.
Yeah,
That's a-
I'll do
that's a
that
good thought.
makes
first. So
sense.
these are the plans that he provided showing the house. And he has a photo of the front facade. There is an L-shaped porch here. And right now, this is asphalt shingle roofing, and he proposes to change it to the standing seam metal. And then we'll go to the next photo that he provided. This is the side view of the porch. Again, this is an asphalt that he seeks to go to standing seam. And then he points out that this little bump out here does have standing seam roofing, which this house is from 1890, so I don't know if it's necessarily original to the home, but definitely historic material. So there is precedent for that material on the building, albeit a small section of it. This is the gazebo that he seeks to it had asphalt. As you can see, he took it off already. Seeks to go to standing seam. This is newer construction, so not really much of a concern from staff. And then he has roofing on the back of the house. This is, again, asphalt shingled that he seeks to go to the standing seam metal. He shows an example across the street at 105 Russell. They have the standing seam metal. A number of other porch roofs in the historic district have the standing seam metal, so most likely that was the original material on all these porches when the homes were constructed. He provided this aerial which shows, again, the L-shaped front porch roof, the rear porch roof, and also there is a section of asphalt here on the addition. This is an addition to the back. This over here is metal shingle. Most of this roof is metal shingle. That's going to remain untouched. But it's the front porch, the second story roof here, rear one-story porch, and then the gazebo in the back. And then this is the standing seam metal representative photo, and then this is the specification. So 2 feet wide. So with that said, let's see if I could pull up our control room viewer and see if he has his hand raised. So if the tech team can allow Mr. Patty to speak. And he is muted.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to speak. This is Donald Patty. I live at 104 Russell Avenue in Gaithersburg. And unfortunately, I got called away for business. I'm actually at DCA about half an hour from jumping on a flight to Boston. But I really did want to participate and give you any information you needed. Chris did a great job of presenting what we're hoping to do. And I'll say that the overall goal is to maintain the historic integrity of the house and hopefully go to something that is more consistent with what we see both in the neighborhood and what we would see on the house when it was built in 1892. That's why we went to the standing seam metal roof. If you feel that that is not the best solution, or you have a variant or an alternative that you'd like to suggest, we have not signed a contract with a roofing company to put it in place yet. Please suggest that alteration or modification and perhaps approve as modified, and then we'll go pursue that versus what we've got here if you think this is not quite the right fit. And with that said, I open it to comments, questions about what our intent is as well as what we plan to do.
Okay, thank you very much. Stay on the line, I guess, because when we do go to the commission, we may have questions for you. So next then is the public is now invited to speak. So is there anybody Nobody present here? Is there anybody online?
No, no one else.
Okay,
is on
very
that.
good, all right. So let's go to the commission. So Commissioner Aurora France, you're up first.
My only question is, when replacing on the rear addition just the one half of the roof, is it possible for you to find similar roofing tiles for just that one section?
So I don't know if he has the ability to speak.
Yeah, I'm back. I can still speak. Now, you're just thinking about the very rear corner, and are you looking to get the metal or the tin tiles there versus the standing seam?
That would be nice if it's possible.
Okay. I have not been able to source that and looked for a number of years for that, because that would actually be my first preference on what to put over the entire house. But it's extremely difficult to find, and from what I've been told by roofers, it also has a tendency to leak. And we have had a couple of leaks in the tin roof. We intend to keep that and just keep repairing it, meaning the tin tiles or shingles. But I've heard the standing seam is more reliable. So if you know of a source, kindly send it my way, and then we can do that on that area.
Thank you. I do understand that sometimes they're very difficult to find something similar. I appreciate you trying to do that, though. Thank you.
Okay, anything further? Okay, Mark?
Yeah, I echo Mary Jo's question. That was my question as well. But I understand if you've already looked for it and you can't source it, then you can, I think doing the standing seam in lieu of the asphalt shingle is appropriate. And especially on the porches where you have the low slope, which looks like it's relatively flat. Asphalt shingles, that's a recipe for disaster to some degree. You want to have the metal there. So I think that's the appropriate solution there.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Morgan?
Thank you. I think I have the same concern of that rear piece of roof, but I have a question. Is it a financial decision not to do the entire roof? Because you're gonna keep the asphalt and then put the stands.
I don't
The
think
rest
it's
of the
asphalt.
roof is metal shingles, which
It's
is
metal
probably
shingle.
historic
Yeah,
material.
but you're keeping you're using standing sand
He's going to do standing seam on the front of
on the
that,
front
and then
on the
keep
L
metal
shape and then keep the
metal on the
metal
back.
shingle. Instead of just, I mean,
Yeah.
this is very
Instead
unique.
of doing both, that's your
Yeah.
question.
That's my question. Is it a financial decision not to do the entire roof, standing sand?
Well, it is financial, as well as the fact that the tin roof that you see up top, those tin tiles or shingles, those are, I'm almost positive, original.
Or is it original? Okay.
The
All right.
standing seam that is on the turret,
Mhm.
I'm not certain whether it is or not. I know the rubber shingles, the asphalt shingles are not original, and we already have a few leaks on those already, including on the back porch. And so the goal is to get more consistent with both the community, but also have fewer different materials on the home. So we're eliminating the asphalt and replacing it with the standing seam. I can double check the cost on replacing the tin tiles, but just as a personal feeling, I love those, and they really
Okay.
add character and tell you this house is not, say, from 1920 or 1930, but in fact from the 1890s. And there are 3 or 4 homes in the area that do have those.
Okay, so then my next question would be, they do make standing sand metal, they make shingle that maybe will match that original since you like the original. Is that something that you thought about exploring?
If they have a standing seam that matches those tiles, that would be fantastic, yes.
Yeah, I've seen those. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's all I have.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Sorry. We get a time to.
That wasn't me.
Do they,
All right,
maybe
yep.
somebody else?
My apologies, folks. Just heading out.
Would you like?
Yeah, if you have a source that you can point to, that would be good. I would love to get as close a match as that as possible.
Okay.
It's too bad John's not here tonight because he'd be the one to talk to.
That's right. Okay. Anything further, Ernie?
No,
Okay,
that's
all right, and then next and last, is it, Chris, is it correct that all the asphalt is being replaced. There's not going to be any asphalt.
That's correct.
Well, I'm for that for sure, so
Yeah.
I don't have any other further questions. So based on that, Commissioners open forum. Sir, your final thoughts before we go to a vote?
I just want to say to the owner, thank you.
Yes.
I'm very impressed, and I'm very pleased that you've decided to continue to preserve the history of this lovely home. Thank you.
Nothing further from you
Nothing
guys?
further.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much. All right, so I'm open to a motion to approve or deny this application.
Should I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. All right. I move that the Historic District Commission, based on the exhibits submitted, the applicant's testimony, and the staff report findings and recommendations, approve HIST 9642-2023.
I will second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Before you do that, do we
Yes.
want to add a condition that he has the option for the roof over the master bedroom to go to a metal shingle if he can source that material?
Does that
Yes.
sound good to you guys?
Yes.
All right, first, we did vote, so I want to open up the voting again. Is everybody okay with opening the voting again?
Yes.
Okay, so we opened it up officially, so then let's add that as an amendment to it.
Okay.
And does everybody have anything further on the amendments? All right, so based on the amended motion, let's have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? None? Okay, so that passes 4-0. Congratulations to you.
Have a safe flight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. All right, next then, we have the second historic area work permit, which is HIST 9643-2023. Construct a 572 square foot garage with driveway expansion and retroactive review of paving at 114 Meem Avenue in the R90 medium density residential zone. May we have introduction from staff, please?
Yes, the subject property is located at 114 Meem. It's contributing to the Chestnut Meem Historic District. The application comes before the HDC in accordance with Section 24-2272A of the City Code. The property is known as the Cole Ward House. It's a one-story bungalow that was constructed circa 1937 as a Sears mail-order kit home. The applicant requests the HDC approve the construction of a garage, expansion of the driveway, and retroactive review of concrete paving. The Chestnut Meem design guidelines apply. The third bullet here, or not the third bullet, but under, these are out of order. The first bullet here, garages and storage sheds should be similar in architectural style as the main house. And I missed one. And under streets, driveways, and alleys, the third bullet here reads that changes to driveway materials should be avoided unless changes would present a historically accurate appearance. Some further information, the applicant's architect is about to present the plans, but we also would like to discuss the retroactive review of some paving that was done on the property. This is an aerial from 2015. As you can see, the driveway was asphalt, and then this is an aerial from 2021. Driveway went from asphalt to concrete. Walkway was paved here, and then this patio was paved back here. They didn't get permits for the work, so they would need a retroactive, historic area work permit, which they're doing right now, and then they'll also need a site development permit for that work. So now I will turn it over, or before I do that, I just want to explain another thing. These were the plans that were initially submitted in the packet on Friday when it was posted. It showed the new garage directly behind the existing single-car garage, and the paving, the expanded driveway went this direction. And then also, this egress door was on the back of the garage. Those plans have changed, which you'll see now. We have the property owner, Edgar Rodriguez, and then we also have the architect, Irfan Khan. So,
Before you guys begin, is the proposed garage still in the same location?
no,
Oh, where, can you show us where it is?
you'll see it on the plans they're about to present.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, welcome to you.
Thank you.
Okay, please state your name and your district for the record.
Hi, Edgar Rodriguez.
I'm sorry,
My name is Edgar Rodriguez.
and your district that you live in?
Yes.
He's the property owner,
Oh,
1115.
one-
Okay, very
yes.
good. And yes, sir, would you state your name?
I'm neighbor.
The neighbor. Oh, okay, I thought the.
Neighbor and architect.
Oh,
No,
and
come on.
architect. I thought the architect. Okay, so are you the architect of the project?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Well, welcome to you. Okay, please begin. If you want to add anything further.
Well, we send another plan. Like, I don't know if you've seen right now the plan what we sent the last.
Yeah, it's on the screen right now.
Okay.
So the previous submission was showing the driveway straight and it'll be on the right hand side of existing driveway. But they prefer to do the driveway, on the right hand side between the house and the existing garage. And their purpose was that to build a driveway in front of a double garage so they can have a playing area on the new concrete and they can keep watching their children from the main house. And they're using as this, they will put a basketball hoop at the garage so the children can play on the new slab, concrete slab in front of the garage.
Okay, thank you. Anything further?
And they will try to match the material to the existing building. Siding is aluminum, but they cannot get the aluminum siding, but it will be vinyl siding to match the size and the style of the existing siding on the main house. And they will try to match the windows and the window shutter and also the roof asphalt shingle.
Okay, thank you. Chris, I don't see any of the unauthorized changes that were made on this document.
Yeah,
Is there
it's-
any way that we,
Yeah, they're not, well, the driveway material changed, and the pathway is shown on that plan, the new walk that connects the driveway to the front walk. The patio is not shown on this plan.
how close is it to the driveway? I'm just curious.
I had that same question. It is not centered to the back of the house, so there is a couple feet separating, and I could pull up the modern aerial so you can get a better view.
There's 3 feet between the existing garage and the new garage on the back side.
So there will be this tree.
How's the tree?
The
What
tree's
happened to
gone.
tree?
The tree's been cut down. This aerial's from 2021. Correct. That
tree's
tree
gone-
is gone.
already
The tree is
gone?
gone.
Yeah.
Oh, it is still there.
Still there.
So I don't know. The tree may have to go as part of this project, but yeah.
Well, the roots will destroy the tree if
Right.
they're cut, so is the tree in bad shape?
I would like to cut down because the branch is falling. There's,
What kind of tree is it, do you know?
it's red oak.
Is it on the survey?
Did you say rail?
Yeah, if that size, it most likely would require, it's something that would be approved by staff, but it's something they would need a historic area work permit and tree removal permit for.
And they'd have to replace a tree.
Yes,
Yeah.
if it is on the
Yeah.
survey, they would have to replace it, obviously not in that location, but elsewhere on the property.
On the property, yeah. It's a lot of work. That tree is huge. The roots, you're trying to build a slab or whatever.
Okay, all right. Next then, if there's nothing further, we'll go to the public. Is there anything further you guys want to say? No, okay. Next then, the public is now invited to speak in person. Participants, please line up at the podium to be sworn in. For those wanting to speak remotely by Zoom, okay, welcome, please, come on up. Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Please state your name and your district that you live in.
Kevin Long, live in Meem Chestnut.
Wonderful, thank you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. We live right across the street, my wife and I live right across the street, 117 Meem. Just here to lend our support to the project.
Oh, wonderful.
No problem
Very
at all.
good. All right, thank you. Yes, please, come on up. Please state your name and your district.
Hello, I'm Edie Musa, and I live at 1117 Meem, and that's in the Chestnut Meem Historic District. And I'd like to say that these are wonderful neighbors, always caring for the property, caring what's going on for the rest of the street. And I do believe that any addition that they make, that it will go ahead and continue with the architecture that's there, to be continuous with that, with it, having a historic look to it. So I'm very much in support of them having this addition, and will help them however I can as well. You have a worker here too. Okay. Any questions for me at all?
No?
No? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience? No? Okay, very good. All right, next then we'll go to the commission. Mary Jo, you're up first.
Mr. Chair, you usually want to ask whether anybody is online.
Yes, thank
You've
you so
always been
much. I
very
appreciate
careful
that.
about that. I
No,
think
I
Chris would have
appreciate that.
said, but we'll still
one-
ask.
no one
No,
is.
I missed that, so
Okay.
thank you very much. So
That way our
one's
record,
waiting.
our record then
No.
shows we asked.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I did miss that. Okay. So, Mary Jo?
Chris, can you remind me, for some reason, it's gone out of my head, is this a contributing property?
It is.
It is.
So, my only concern is the garage, even though it's new, having vinyl siding.
Well, I'll add that even though it's a contributing property, the garage is new construction, so
It
the
is.
HDC is to be lenient on plans for either if it was non-contributing, if it was work being done to the actual building, but this is obviously an accessory building. So
Right.
there is some leniency there.
And also, could you please help me go back to the picture that was originally up, so that I think I visually have this, where you're gonna use this, enter in the same driveway. Then you're gonna drive around the outbuilding, right? Which will then take you to the pad in front of the new garage? Is that correct?
So I have the revised plans on the screen now. So you drive up the
Okay.
driveway. Here's the original garage here.
Right,
You're going to go to the right,
okay,
and then you have the parking pad here,
great.
and then the new garage is here, 2 feet away from the side property line.
2 feet away from the side property line, okay, good. And then my other question is, the man door that has been moved from the back to the
Yes.
side where the walkway is.
Close, the door is right at the north end here.
Oh, the other end.
So, yeah,
Okay,
I think that's
Either.
correct, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
okay. All right, very good. That's the only questions I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
Commissioner Feinstein?
A couple questions. One for, I guess, Chris to start. Is there a setback requirement from the side?
There is a 2-foot setback requirement, so they're just meeting it, and I'll remind them that that includes overhangs. So,
I was just going to ask that
yeah,
because
if it does overhang,
Yeah.
we're not measuring
That's
from
not
the base
shown.
of the building,
Yeah.
we're going to measure from the edge of the gutter.
I'm saying
Yeah.
right now, the
Yeah.
drawing clearly shows that the overhang is
Is-
closer than the 2 feet.
Yeah,
because of
definitely, yeah,
The 22-foot size, I assume, is the garage itself.
yeah.
So I would suggest, is that 22? Yeah.
It's 22, yeah.
So I would suggest a revised drawing from them.
Mhm.
And maybe we just have to make that as a statement, that it has to be just in case. So do we know what the overhang is? Is it just 12 inches?
12 inch.
12 inch? All right. So essentially, it looks like you have to move your building over 1 more foot
Mhm.
to the east. Does that sound right to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right.
The other concern I had was
So,
from the photos, and obviously I don't have a survey of it, so I don't know the grade, but it looks like the grade raises up a little bit as you approach the property line
Mhm.
on the, I guess it would be north side of the property. Has there been any kind of grading analysis? Will a retaining wall be required against that, or?
We had engineering staff has looked at the plans, the original and the revised, and they found them to be satisfactory for both.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd hate for it to have an issue there. And I guess this is more questions right now, right?
Yeah, so it's your call right now. Anything you want?
Yeah, I mean, I have some comments, but.
Yes.
Okay.
Comments and questions, anything you want.
I mean, I had no issues with when the garage was located right behind the existing structure. I thought it was, compatible, and I actually don't have as much of an issue as where the garage is now. My main problem with the revised design is how close the new concrete driveway comes to the house, the existing historic house. And it looks to be only a couple feet from that historic house.
Yeah.
I think you're exactly right on 2 feet, for scale and the 2 foot dimension on the garage.
And that starts to change the character of the house itself.
It's interesting, it's an interesting thought.
And as you can see from the aerial, and then even from the Meem Avenue street view, it will have an impact on the historic structure and how it views. And we've seen in the past with projects we've dealt with that once you alter the landscape that historic structure is on, that it has dramatic impact on the house itself. So I understand the reason why you're doing it, based on having a play area for a basketball court, play area for the kids. But from a historic standpoint, I think it provides something that's less desirable.
Where is the basketball area going to be? Is it just the paved driveway in front of the
Correct.
new garage?
Yes, that pad.
Well, based on your thought, what if they flipped the plan and put the garage on the far right?
Well, I think that's preferable from a design standpoint. I understand they want to have visual access to see their kids in the backyard, so they would be behind the garage at that point.
Okay.
Correct.
Yes, that's correct.
So what are your thoughts on a solution to your concern?
The solution to the concern is there any way to? There would be a potential to do a secondary concrete pad, and do it and flip it, and then, but that wouldn't really. Then you're just adding extra concrete, so I don't like that idea. I don't have a good solution to solve the issue. I just think the issue, which seemed like a easy, slam dunk solution to putting the garage where you had it before, all of a sudden when I saw the Chris's email the other day, it was like, for me, it was a little more problematic. And I've been trying to think of a solution. I don't have a good solution for it.
Okay.
So if we increase the distance between the existing garage and the new driveway, as shown in the plan is 4 feet, we can reduce it to 2 feet.
No, he's saying
No.
the driveway to the existing house.
Oh,
It's the
close.
house. Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, graphically it scales to 2 feet.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm trying to. I don't know an alternative to prevent that from. I think you pretty much have it as tight as possible there.
And it's too bad they couldn't move the original garage over,
Hmm.
and then it would be solved.
Is there any kind of?
Well, they initially wanted to just get rid of the original garage, and staff was not in favor of that.
No.
Is there any historic value to?
The garage is original,
That's
probably
original.
most likely
Original,
original
yeah.
to the home's
Okay.
construction.
That's
Yeah.
why I only said move.
Yeah, and I think it may be, Commissioner LaFrance probably knows more than I do. I think it's the only garage of that period left in the district.
I
so
believe it
is
is.
something we would like to retain if possible.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, I think saving the garage trumps the location of the new driveway to the existing house. As a trade-off, I would say let's keep the garage, because you can always remove the new paving down the road, 50 years old down the road, but you can never build back a historic structure.
No.
Is there, and then there's, what if it goes the other way?
Well, if it goes the other way, there's no issues but then they lose their ability to have that, that new pad basketball court be visual from the backyard of the house.
Yeah.
How wide is the new driveway to the new garage at the thin part nearest the house? How wide is that?
The new driveway is 10 feet wide.
Just 10 feet? All right.
Yeah, they can't really go much narrower than that.
No.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was saying 12. I'd say you can do 10.
Yeah.
If it's 10, I agree that it's too tight. What about material? I'm not so sure you want to go down that path, but if it
I was
was,
thinking that also. If you did like a crushed gravel or pea gravel there, and
Yeah.
then bring it back to concrete as it gets back to
Yeah.
the.
yeah,
I'm
and,
not so sure our site development coordinator likes gravel.
oh, is that right?
There are gravel driveways in the district, but they've been like that for who knows how long. But adding new gravel construction, he is not in favor of.
I mean, you said your engineer look at this.
Yes.
This, the radius, I'm kind of troubled a little bit. Maybe it's just the graphics. You have 4-inch PVC drain on the driveway. Why? Can you explain why you have it 4-inch?
Because there's between the existing garage and driveway.
Mm-hmm. It's a
Yeah.
differential between.
Yeah,
Okay. And it's underneath. It's underneath the new and existing concrete.
Yeah.
How deep you have it? I mean, is there a drop?
it's a drop.
Okay.
It's sloping toward the street.
Okay. All right. So you put the pipe underneath, and then the pipe is under to receive the water on both ends. So
Correct.
the surface water, it just run off. It run off to the.
Between the existing garage and the
And
driveway.
then, okay, all right. Okay. Again, because no dimension on this, the radius, turning into the property, turning into the driveway to go to the garage. And now when you go up, where you have the existing storage garage, that turning radius, to turn into you, everything looks so tight.
We can
I'm-
provide the dimension.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
graphically looking at that, and to Mark comment on the radius, the new concrete so close to the existing house. Again, I don't have a solution whether to move this thing up. If you move it up again, then you're getting close to the existing storage. So it just.
Right now it's about 2 feet.
I would prefer more space between that turning radius and the house, and then maybe dress it up with some shrubs, just to soften. Because I mean, I'm looking at you taking down the tree, the big tree, you imposing concrete pad, garage, you putting more hard surface on the property.
Yeah.
So that's something that you need to.
The imper-
Yeah.
The impervious calculations that you had in the packet, did that include the patio?
Yes.
Okay.
They have a large lot,
Yeah.
so they are well under. So theoretically, if the garage location were to move, they would most likely, if they wanted to pave another area for a basketball court, they would have enough space for that.
Okay. Suppose they flip the garage, I think that Dean alluded to that, if they flip the garage to the right, and then the pad would be right behind the house. You can actually see your kids. You ever thought about that? You come to the driveway and go that way. And that whole thing is away from the house.
I'm not following.
Okay. You go to the left side of the existing driveway, and you put up the new driveway and go that way, and the pad and then the garage to the right.
Right, and
Yeah.
what Mark pointed out,
Yeah.
rightly so, is that they will no longer have visibility from their house to the basketball
basketball
area.
court.
So it's not visible from the house, and if that's a concern with the homeowner, that makes certain sense. That's
Oh.
why they did this.
Okay, the pad will stay where the pad is, but then the garage is to the right of the pad.
To the right of the pad?
Yeah,
Here,
and the
we're
driveway,
just-
it's just gonna be a longer driveway.
But you still have the issue with the, so you put the garage behind the house,
Yes,
it
to
still
the right.
doesn't solve the issue. And then you go around
You go around the existing storage and garage.
to the left of the,
Yeah,
That's what
to
I
the
was
right.
thinking, to
Yeah.
the left of
And
it.
then-
Yeah, to the right, yeah.
so then you're basically, your whole backyard is
Yeah.
paved
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah,
And that's, the garage will be where their patio
yeah.
currently is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm worried about that too. You have to be very careful about not of having pedestrian traffic, meaning the kids running around and having cars cutting across with very little visual.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
I understand all the decisions that are being made, but I just have that as my primary issue. I don't have a problem with the garage itself.
Oh, well. Yeah, the only other solution is, like I said, if the original garage could be moved over,
Then it would solve the
that would
issue.
solve everything. Because it would be a straight shot
Mm-hmm.
to the pad.
Mhm.
Like this.
And that would be the best and only solution I can see. Because, yes, I agree, I want to preserve the original garage. But I
Yeah.
don't think that where it is as important as saving it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm not concerned about the material of the concrete. I know that it's, while it was done without approval, it still is a compatible material in this, on the street, so that's not an issue to me.
All right, Rudy, anything further from you? All right, I don't really have anything further to add. So, Commissioners Open Forum, just jump in because we're gonna get ready to vote one way or the other. Yay or nay, so.
And yeah, the solution that Dean said about materiality and changing that portion of it to a different material, like even if it's the old style 2 slivers of concrete with grass in between.
Now that's different. That would be something we'd be okay with, but gravel, no.
Okay.
Tar and chip, we would not support that.
Because it goes away too fast, you lose it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not something that's sustainable and, yeah.
What about like a grasscrete?
Yeah,
What is that?
yeah,
Grasscrete, like a grass pavers essentially.
yeah, the grass grows up inside.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, again, I don't think the city prefers those. The tire strips is another thing.
I kind of, what do y'all think about the tire strips?
I like that if they're open to it, that sounds like a great solution, because it certainly would reduce the closeness to the house.
Yeah, just in that area where it turns until it gets back to the rectangle, and then it can go back to a pad at that point. Would that be something you guys would consider?
It's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
There is also window well on the side of the house, on the left side. So that's why the driveway start that far close to the existing garage.
Mhm.
So there's 2 window well on the left side of the house.
Yeah, no, I understand. I was just saying, in that section of new concrete driveway where you go off of the existing concrete driveway, the quote-unquote existing concrete driveway, until it gets down back to the 30-foot by 26-foot rectangle in the back, instead of doing it all out of poured concrete, do it out of a strip of concrete for the wheel, grass in between, and then a strip of concrete on the other side for the other wheel. So it kind of it takes away the extra footprint of the concrete, while it still provides the protection for the wheels.
Yeah, we can work something over here.
Yeah. We can consider that.
Chris, can you pull up something like off of Google so that there's a visual on here to show
Sure.
everyone, please? Thank you.
That's a perfect
Yeah.
picture. That's a perfect picture.
Something like that, if you can see on the screen.
Minus the brick, of course.
Yeah. Would,
Instead of complete concrete, just put the strip pavement.
with grass in between, until you get back to the rectangle.
You mean all the way to the garage or just that curb?
So that the main driveway from the street to the existing storage shed / old garage can remain poured concrete as it is. But as it turns off of that and then goes back to the rectangular concrete pad, just that area would be the strips. So that area that's so close to the house,
Yeah, right there.
it becomes, feels more like it's grass.
If you can look at the monitor, Chris,
Yeah.
show them with the.
Right there.
Yeah,
So
that-
right in that area,
That area, okay.
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
that area,
just that
it's
area.
the only
That-
area.
that's-
But the concrete in front of the garage can stay.
Yeah,
Correct,
Yes.
correct.
Yeah.
and the large pad in front of the new garage for
Just-
your basketball court stays.
Yeah.
But it's just the
Just the
connection.
driveway.
Just the connection where
Yeah,
it,
connection.
Yeah, right there.
where it crosses between the
Oh.
two structures.
Yeah, because then at that point then, because it's just dealing with your wheels, it won't be 10 feet wide at that point in time. It'll probably be closer to
Close.
8.
It can be 8 feet.
Yeah, with this strip in the middle. I think that's a great suggestion if you guys are open to it.
I like that.
And it's less expensive for you.
That's always a good
That's
thing.
right.
That's
You
always a
gotta
good
cut the
thing.
grass, yeah.
Okay.
Save a lot of
So is that
money, yeah.
acceptable to
Yeah.
you?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right, well, that is a great suggestion. You got a gold star, I'm telling you.
Most excellent.
Really great. All right, so based on that, nothing else anybody needs to say, I assume. So let's go to a vote. Can somebody give a motion to approve or deny this application with or without amendments?
I will give it a shot. I move that the Historic District Commission, based on the exhibits submitted, the applicant's testimony, and the staff report findings and recommendations, approve HIST -9643-2023 with 2 conditions.
Actually, well, 2 conditions and 1 suggestion. I'll tell you in a minute.
All right, first condition, applicants must apply for retroactive site development permit for the concrete paving within 30 days of the HDC approval. And the second condition is that area that was highlighted by Chris Berger, where it is an offshoot from the existing concrete driveway until you get back to the rectangular pad,
Proposed.
be strips instead of a poured concrete pad.
And the plans should be revised to show the building
Yeah.
overhang at least 2
No,
feet
yeah.
away from the
Forgot
sidewalk.
about
Third
that.
condition, yes,
Forgot
thank
Forgot
you.
about that. And then I would say the fourth is to redraw the site plan accordingly.
That could be
Yeah.
wrapped in with
The
third
first
one.
one.
Okay,
And then I'd just like to say the HDC suggests appropriate plantings to also, like a view shed from the road, so that there's a bit of a screen with appropriate plantings maybe.
Okay.
Suggestion.
now before it's seconded, I have something else I want to relay. I didn't even think of myself putting my thoughts in. Can we go to a drawing that shows the garage in elevation, showing the roof pitch?
Next one.
I'll pull it up on this.
Okay, the top drawing, can you zoom in on I think it's 1012?
5
5 to 12.
Oh, it's on the side, I see,
Yeah,
okay,
5
so
to
it's only 512. I think that's too shallow. That's too, it needs to be steeper. It should match the house.
What's the house pitch?
I don't know, but it should match the house.
I don't remember right now. Let me check.
The first image of the house you had, can you go back to that?
Sure. Here's the garage.
Yeah, there you go. That's much
Yeah,
steeper than a
it's
512.
steeper, yeah.
And so I recommend that we add that to another requirement to
Match the pitch of the roof.
match the pitch of the house.
Yeah.
Because I think the existing garage is at least that.
That's what you're saying. If you follow the line of that image, the garage kind of matches.
Yeah, oh, there you go, on the far left, it's sticking out, yeah.
Yeah,
There it
you
is.
see
Yeah,
that,
yeah, So is that acceptable to everybody,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that's a
Yes.
requirement? So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's number 4, because we
Yeah, that would
took
be number
4 and
four.
put it in
Yep.
with 1, okay. All right,
And
so,
everybody's okay with my suggestion about the plantings
Yeah.
for screening?
Yeah, definitely,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
all right, so now we need a second for the amended version.
A second?
All right, so roll call. Aye if you support the motion with the amendments, nay if you don't, or abstain if you wish. Commissioner Frantz,
Aye.
Commissioner Feinstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Morgan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Ventola says aye, so it passes 4-0. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a
Thank
beautiful
you.
home, and your neighbors speak so
Yeah.
highly about you. I think that you should be
Yeah.
very,
So
very
nice.
happy and proud about that.
Yeah,
So-
I feel so.
So
proud of
wonderful.
that.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for your cooperation.
you.
And I hope you really enjoy yourself. And that, do you have kids?
Yes, I got
I
four.
hope you beat them in the basketball. They're going to try and get you. All right, very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you so much. All right, so next then is discussion topics. Next is potential historic designations. May we have introduction from staff, please?
Yeah, so we've been doing these the past, earlier this year, mostly the former industrial buildings along East Diamond Avenue. We're gonna take a slight detour. Commissioner Ventola, or Chair Ventola, asked that we look at the First National Bank on the corner of Summit and Diamond Avenue. It's addressed as 300 and 302 is that building, and it's this building, which is now the Metro PCS building. It's bigger, as you'll see, bigger now than it was originally. Originally took up these two doors here, and now there's a third door down here, received an addition later that we'll get to, and here's another view of it. This is the original, or the first map of Gaithersburg that actually shows lots on it, 1894. And zooming in here, right at the intersection, we have the bank. It was there, built in 1891. The Belt Building, which is still there and locally designated, that's present. The Diamond Drugs Building is at the other corner of the intersection, that's still present today. And of course, the railroad station is still present today. This is from Gaithersburg, the Heart of Montgomery County history book, and I included the entire page because this bill on the left has a caption that says, $20 bill issued by the First National Bank of Gaithersburg. Bill is signed by Frank B. Severance, cashier, and J.B. Diamond, president, shown actual size. And I'll read the passage in the book which explains it more. It says, another financial institution, the First National Bank of Gaithersburg, opened in 1891 at the northeast corner of Diamond and Summit Avenues. Mr. Upton Darby served as the bank's first president, and Messrs. Philemon M. Smith, Nathan Cook, and John B. Diamond were among the original directors. Unlike today's banks, the First National was set up just for checking accounts and other customer transactions. Later, a savings department was opened. The bank also, for a time, issued its own currency. This was permitted by the U.S. Treasury Department, provided that the bank buy Panama Canal bonds and pledge those to the Treasury. The
That
bank could
makes sense.
then issue currency up to the amount of its capital stock, and then it continues on the next page. During the stock market crash and depression years of the 1930s, the bank imparted a feeling of security to the town. It was one of the first financial institutions in the county to reopen after the bank holiday of 1930 and to pay its customers 100%. In 1958, the first bank merged with the Germantown Bank, and in 1960, it became a branch of Suburban Trust. This is an article, a contemporary news article from 1891 when it opened. It says what it said before. It had Upton Darby as the president, a capital of $50,000, and the deposits measured $42,000, and 200 people gathered. A dinner served at Nichols Hall, which was across the street. So these are some older photos we have. This is it in the background here. This is the train station, so we're just south of the railroad tracks. And here's a view, you can tell by the pyramid roof here, end of the block along Diamond Avenue, East Diamond Avenue facing west. There's a sign announcing a baseball game out front with a horse and wagon. There's a large tree here by probably, I think this is 1920, blocking the view, but here's the bank building, a brick building with that pyramid and scallop shingles, arched windows. This is the caption for that photo that we have in our photo archive. So it says it's circa 1920, trying to hide behind the gigantic tree flanking it, but the leaves fail to cover the simple majesty of the building. And then it goes into some of its background, which we already know. The architecture of the building has changed dramatically over the years, but the 1891 Quarterstone is still a prominent feature of this Old Town landmark. In 1960, the bank merged, and moved to its Summit Avenue location. You'll find that that date isn't exactly correct in a few slides. Western Auto, managed by Diggs Floyd, moved in the bank building, and later a furniture store was located here. In 1967, the East Addition was added, so that's why it's bigger today than it was originally. The building has been home to an art gallery, a frame store, and this year underwent a complete interior renovation, reopening as the Christian Science Reading Room. So this was circa 1990 when this caption was written. The east portion of the building has been used primarily as professional office space. Here's a fire truck. This is in front of Diamond Drugs. You can see it in the background, and we know this is from 1927 because this is a news article that shows the firefighters posing in front of the bank building. And here's the best photo we have of it. It shows it in winter with the leaves off the tree, so this is how it looked originally. Wow. This family must have donated these photos because we have another number of photos of this gentleman. He was the original teller for the bank, Robert Moore. It gives some biographical information. He came from Virginia. He built a really, high quality Queen Anne home on Brooks Avenue, which still exists. So it's called the Moore Bell House, so he is the Moore of that namesake. And then here's a photo of him, interior photo of the bank. And I believe this is still him. And here's the vault. 1919, people went to this bank in Montgomery County to pay their local and state taxes. It lists all the banks where you can go to pay your tax. There weren't a whole lot of them, so this would be a popular place in the springtime, I imagine. We saw this photo earlier. This is from 1947, so they were looking back on nostalgia from the 1920s, just about 30 years later. Banker hours, always a thing apparently. They were open from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on weekdays and 9 to noon on Saturdays. So it was a brief window when they were opened in 1947. And then this is when they moved halfway up the block to what is now a laundromat building. It was a Bank of America until recently. So this is dated 1952. So that is the date when First National Bank vacated the intersection and moved up the block. I'm guessing they moved up the block so they could have a drive-through teller.
Yeah.
This is a photo from the 40s. We can't really pinpoint when the tower was taken down, when it underwent its kind of, substantial change. This gable roof here is Diamond Drugs. I don't know if this tree is in front of what is the bank building here or if it's behind. So we can't tell if the pyramidal roof would be somewhere here. You can tell that there's still kind of an arch here. So it may have been a gradual changes instead of all at once, but definitely present day, it's changed quite a bit. This is the Maryland Inventory of Historic Properties form from 1982 that notes that the tower was destroyed by a fire, and other changes have been made to the building, though it did have some of its original architectural features. So again, going back to the photo that we have of it from probably early 1900s, and this is what it looks like today. So you can see the rounded windows are there, but the entire roof has changed quite a bit.
Look at the windows to the side with the arch tops and see how far they are off the ground versus this one. I wonder if they raised the street. To me, it looks like it's much higher on the other photo. The stone base looks like it's been covered.
Yeah, or at the very least
I'm saying
reduced
the road,
about a foot or two. Yeah,
the road appears to be raised.
Yeah,
How
very
about
real
that?
possibility.
That's a huge change. I wonder why they would have done that.
They're running the utilities.
Yeah.
They use that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then we go back to our criteria, the historic and cultural significance, and then the architectural and design significance. So I'll open it up to commission's thoughts. And what they're saying.
Can you bring back the photo, Karen? That's the one. All I have to say is I think the human scale on that is so beautiful. That's one of the things that I noticed when I first came down here many decades ago and came through, walking through Gaithersburg. I just fell in love with this area just because it was so human scale, so intimate, so small, versus, you know, a skyscraper, or, you know, really tall buildings. I mean, it just looked like it was done very well. The detailing looked good. I love the brick. So I think it's certainly worth considering.
I just want to remind us that we've learned in our training that although buildings change over time, that is not a reason not to consider it for historic designation. So I support your interest in the building, Dean.
Thank you.
Well,
I mean, I think it's an attractive building, and frankly, the changes were made theoretically probably more than 50 years ago at this point, so.
Yeah, maybe 80 years ago.
It could
and there was a
be-
fire.
It could be,
I like
you
what you
know,
think.
it could be theoretically designated on its
On its own.
without
Yeah.
without the original design. I mean, I think when you look at the two structures side by side, it's hard to see that. You have to really search for the details of the original structure in the current structure. Not to diminish from the current structure. I'm just saying that if we were trying to designate it, I think as you know, based on its original 1890s historic significance, I don't think you can.
I'm not interested in that because first of all, it does not exist.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in this on its own
Right.
architecture,
Mhm.
solely on its own.
Yeah, and it's as an example of, you know, adaptation that was done mid-century, mid-20th century. I think it's done very well.
Yeah.
Chris, I also want to ask you, I thought I read an article in the Gaithersburg Gazette when it was still running that the attorney who I guess bought the property had found some historic papers in the attic of this bank, but that was not part of the presentation. Is
No, I'm
that-
not aware of that.
Okay. Just thought I'd mention
Yeah.
it. I don't remember what they consisted of,
Mm.
but I know they were discovered.
Okay.
I think it's the same gentleman. I
Yeah,
can't
Jim
think of his
Clifford.
name. Yes.
I'm curious about the $20 bill where that exists.
Yeah,
Is
I
it
don't
in a
know. I've
museum
not
somewhere?
seen that.
I've
but-
never even heard about
Yeah.
it.
That is
Print your
really
own
neat.
money.
Right.
That was really exciting, wasn't it?
Oh
I
my,
like
and it's
that.
a beautiful
yeah.
bill, and
Yeah.
it looks like it's something from the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, it looks
for
like a
sure.
Monopoly bill.
Yeah.
Something out of Monopoly.
There you go.
Oh, beautiful.
But I agree that the addition, I want to also further say that the addition does not take away from the building
No,
at
no.
all. And as you mentioned already, it's old enough now, so it's over
Yeah,
the 50
I
years.
mean, I'll say this, if someone was proposing that we want to save this because of its 1800
Yeah.
architecture, that's gone. That, I would never support that. I never was thinking that that was an issue. And by the way, I never knew it existed other than what was here, other than today. Did you guys know that? That
No,
building
not at
looked
all.
like that? Yeah.
I
So to me,
did.
it's not even an issue. To me,
Yeah,
this
I
building
did.
stands on its own architecturally.
Yeah.
And like I said, I truly fell in love with the human scale on it. A very nice piece of architecture, very quaint, really nice on a corner. I thought it was one of the nicer ones in the city when I first came here.
And I did know, and that's what actually made me nervous at first, that maybe this would not be something. But now that we've discussed it further, and you're right, it's whatever changes happened more than 50 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
a
it
great
doesn't
point
matter.
Mark brought up. And if it's
Yeah.
80, that's certainly valuable.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I just think it's a nice piece of architecture
Yeah.
worth preserving. What are your thoughts?
I agree with no additional comments. I mean, it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the windows, the brick, the facial, the trims. I mean, it did an excellent job.
Mhm.
Yeah. Again, you won't even know this building is the same building. That.
No.
No.
That's
no
what,
way.
it's very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
All it takes is money.
It's very clean.
Do anything you want.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
yeah,
Anything further from us?
No, I have your comments.
I would just want to say one thing not about this building. And this is one time, sadly, where I disagree with you, Dean, that when we were talking about the industrial, possibly district, I referred to it as the Purina building. It's actually the one that was the storage, wasn't it? Some kind of Purina feed and
Oh,
something
yeah,
at one
yeah.
point, right? So
Right.
to me, it's the Purina building, like the Purina cat chow.
Mhm.
I do find that interesting.
Mhm.
And I don't think it's actually hasn't changed as much as some of the other two that we were looking at that we like. I am pleased that they
Do you
were
have a
able.
picture of it?
It's
Yeah.
the.
You know what, I do have.
It's the storage, when they have the storage units there, but the storage units are mostly
But isn't that the one with
Yeah.
the plain front? I don't know.
with the half-moon bricks that where the windows used to be. Yes,
Yeah.
and I actually think it's wonderful.
Better than this? Better than this?
No, no, no,
Just
but
teasing.
I don't want it to go off the table, is all I'm saying.
No, I understand.
I just wanted to mention that part. But no, this is great.
No, I was just teasing.
And not instead.
I was just
No.
teasing. All right. All right, so that takes care of potential historic designations?
Yes.
All right, very good. All right, so next then, let's see here. It's from staff, right? So, Chris, do you have anything?
Nothing more
you want
from
to
me.
add? Frank, would you like to add anything tonight?
No, not tonight.
Okay. So anything from the commissioners? Mary Jo?
I already did that.
Mark?
Nope.
Nope.
Rudy?
Nope.
And me? No. So we are hereby adjourned.